Now in this part of our Python tutorials, we're going to talk about mathematical functions that are built in inside Python, or the ones that use the math function. So in order to do that, let's make a new file like always and call it math.py. Because it's the name of a module which you will import here, it's a wrong job to do that. So here I'm going to change the name to, for example, math.to or mathematical.py. And if I do that, there is a high probability that I face an error. So because we have a module named math, if I name my Python file just the same as the module that I'm going to use, there will be an error. So in order to avoid that, I'm going to first of all change the name from math to mathematical. And notice that you need to do that for so many of the modules that exist on your Python directory, either the ones that you have recently installed or the ones that are built in Python. So here, or for example, we have a module named OS. So if you create a new file called os.py, then it's not going to work. It will throw an error. So anyway, we're going to work with mathematical functions. There are a number of functions that do not need the math module. These are the ones that can work without this module, without naming. For example, math.py is not a built-in function or a number, or for example, math.sqrt is a function that works with sqrt this way. It's the one that works with the math module, but there are the ones that do not need a math module. For example, we have a list of numbers. So let me first comment all of these. One of these are maximum and minimum. So for example, we have a list of numbers. So list, and I can put in a number of numbers, integer numbers, for example, 3, 4, 10, 8, and also I can put in 7 and so on. And in here also let me add another number which is smaller, okay? And here I can use minimum or maximum, which does not need the math module. It can work and find the minimum or maximum number inside the list. So I can print maximum of list and the min of the list. So let me close the parentheses and save this one. Python 3 mathematical.py. So let's run it this way. I need to change the spelling from Python to Python. Okay, there we go. So we have an error related to syntax. Okay, there we go. Maximum of the list is 10 and the minimum of the list is 2. So this way, without using the math module, we've calculated the maximum and the minimum of the list using these two functions. There's also another function for finding the absolute or positive value of a number. So that is ABS, and it is the short form or abbreviation of absolute. So here, for example, we've got a negative number or a number that we don't know. We put it inside A, and so for example, we can have a list, and inside of that list we have negative and positive numbers. So for example, 6 3, 4, -1, -7, -4, and here we want to print, and also let's have a for loop as well, for I in A, or we can say yes, for I in A, and we can print ABS of I. ABS of I. So it's going to print out all of the numbers, absolute value, one by one, no matter it's negative or positive. It's going to print out the absolute value. So 1, 3, 6, 7, and 4. 1, 3, 6, 7, and 4. So this one doesn't need a math module as well. We have also the power. So a power function is used when you want to, for example, calculate 4 to the power of 7 or 2 to the power of 9. And so, for example, I can write print power, and for example 3 to the power of 4, and let's see what is the result. It's 81, and it's the true number. So you can also use the power and actually write the power or calculate the power in a very different manner. So for example, you can write 3 and use 2 multiplications, and this is going to work in the same way. As you can see, the result is 81. So either you use the power function or you use 2 multiplication signs. This is going to bring out the same result. Now, what do we want to use the math module functions? So let me uncomment this one and print out the pi number. So pi is very useful for so many mathematical operations and so many of the triangular calculations, such as sine of pi, cosine of pi, and so on. So here, as you can see, 3.14, 15, 92, and so on. There are a lot of digits after the dots. So here, as you can see, there are so many digits. I haven't counted it, but I think that's enough. The number of digits after the dots. So we can also have the SQRT, or the square root of a number. We use math for that one as well. So here I can print the square root of a number like 16, and the result should be 4. Here, as you can see, the result is 4. And also you can calculate the square root of for example 20, which is not going to result in an integer number. So as you can see, we have a lot of digits after the dot or the point: 4.47, 21, 35, and so on. So here that's it for the functions, the mathematical functions using the math module and without using the math module. Notice that some of them use the math module, the other ones may not need math module, but there are a lot more functions for the mathematical operations, such as the inverse function of cosine, the inverse function of sine, and so on. For so many of them, you will need to use the math module, and but because the list of them is very long, we're not going to cover it in this tutorial. But You can find so many of them on Google. You can Google it and simply find how to use a certain mathematical function in the fastest ways using Python.